Preparing. Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. Good morning, Michael. We
Good
missed
morning.
a week. That's not
Yeah.
good. It's
No,
my
it's not good. It's really not good. I was like off. I like this, you know, it doesn't have to be every time on the same, but I
day.
like our weekly talk because it progresses, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yes.
So that's why I like.
Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic, yeah. And then Claire's finished with school and we're packing up and it's just chaos. So some days I just need to be in the house and then I don't put the computer on as much. So
Yeah.
I've missed you. I'm very happy to chat to you today. It is the week of your birthday as well. I just want to mention
Oh
that.
my God. Oh my God.
Um, and our theme well, we've just started a new season. My journal was a
Yeah.
little bit late to publish because everything's a little bit late. So
Yeah.
it's going with
But
time.
you predicted it.
It's
You said that before,
I
don't be
did.
upset. I'm gonna be like, I love that because when I know, hey, she has something to do, anybody that says something, instead of I
Yeah.
get it all done, that do the opposite. I might be late because there's something going on in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Hmm.
is just how it is. And then it came out and the lines aren't aligned. So I'm gonna have to kind of fix it and I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
But this is how life is, I think, for a lot of people at the moment. It's kind of Um, I don't know. Things are just happening the way they're happening, and we just need to learn to adapt to a different rhythm sometimes. I
Hmm.
think that is what mastery is about, really, to not strive for whatever perfection or, you know, always there's this word that people always use is consistency. You always have to be consistent. But I think part of being consistent is being real in that I'm not always the same. Being the same and consistent, I don't think are the same thing. So, what do you think?
I think the consistency can be a burden.
Mm,
And life is not a burden, it's a responsibility. It's the ability to respond to what happens in your life. Transparency, we know that.
yeah.
Like you said, I might not be perfect. This
Yes.
might happen. So
Yeah.
you're responsible. You're not responsible of burdening yourself that you can get all the drawers done.
Mm,
You willing to respond. The willingness to respond said, "Hey, I'm going through a tough time. I'm doing this, so don't expect perfection from me.
yeah.
That the book comes out, that this comes out, that everything." And I think that's very important. That's very important to not see it in a systemic way. The systemic says, "Oh, you got to be responsible," and then they count it. They call it accountable,
Yeah.
because responsible is a human word, accountable is a system word, and then accountable can be, you have to, if you have good lawyers, you'd never be responsible. You just do whatever you want, right, in the system,
Yeah.
right? But in the human, you lose the human. So if I keep lying to you, if I keep proposing all this stuff to you, and you just, oh my God, then I
Yeah.
cannot be with this guy because we don't get on one in balance. We don't get anything. We just, it's always about him, you know,
Yeah.
because had trauma when he was young or whatever. But that's not the same reality. When I had a trauma in the youth, doesn't mean I have to be like this today.
Yeah. And to bring it back to kind of that mastery, I've changed
Yeah.
the name. Last year I called it the art of mastery, but I've been quite drawn to the quiet roots of mastery because there is a stillness in being responsible. And I have the flies are back. Sorry, that's why the fan's going because the
It's
flies.
our fan letter. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, so to be quiet in the fact that, I'm not always going to be the same, or I'm not always going to respond in the same way because I'm not always the same. But if I take responsibility for I am more than the sum of my parts, that I am bigger than
Hmm.
just this one or two or three things that has happened or is happening or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, we are a moving part. We are a evolving
And
entity.
it's never done. If you pass away tomorrow, it's never done. It doesn't matter if you pass in 100 years or now. It has no difference. You have lived long, have more experience, but it has no experience to the final outcome, because the final outcome is for everybody the same. We're clicking over to the non-physical, so it's not about that. If you don't enjoy that journey, it's not gonna. And I enjoy that journey by looking at. So I see it first as horrible, right? A political thing or whatever, and then I look at my perception and find something. Where can that be positive? So for what can that be positive is then also a positive in my life, because I always look at the dark side. Where's the positive of that dark side? Like we talked about wars, right? I said 61 wars. Yeah, that people finally see that's a business. That's not anything that's human. They say it's human because from day one, some people made wars. But that is not human. That for me is not, because the history says somebody wrote down the Trojan did this, and the English army did this and the Americans did it. Has nothing, has no meaning. That's systemic uh, propaganda, basically, because it is not. War is a business. It's used for system as a business, and we have to be honest to each other and say that, and be here with it. Be surrender to, not submit, surrender to. Okay, some people like the dark. Some people like devil worship. Some people like the God. Some people like a false God. Some people like it. It's the whole that lets you surrender to life, to your life, to your experience. And I think that's important. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard it is, that what happens, you can look at it. Okay, I'm doing this because of that, and you remind yourself. That's why you need the stillness. You need the stillness to remind myself. Why did I choose to go back to South Africa? And it seems that the more time goes by, it makes more and more sense to me as a viewer. It makes more sense to me, because I was first worried about the kids, but then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And also comes back to kind of that root element, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, there is a importance, a connection point to being being where we feel at home, if that makes sense.
yeah.
To not be uprooted. I think there's a lot of people in the world. There's some, bad things happening in South Africa as well at the moment with
Everywhere in the world,
Cambodia.
everywhere.
Yeah, big marches, people are being chased
Yeah,
out of the country, hundreds and hundreds of people have to flee, they have to leave
yeah,
behind and it happens all over the world, but this is real to me in that I know
yeah.
some of these people that are going through this upheaval. Um,
Hmm.
and it's difficult in this world where there are wars, where there's persecution, where there's all these things happening, and
Hmm.
people have to leave what they love or go back. It's yeah, life is complicated. It's not just a
But
simple.
it's a mastery. We talk about mastery. You want
Yes,
the university of mastery. You being here on Earth. If you
yeah,
don't want it, say bye bye and be in the physical, in the non-physical. But
yeah,
here, being here on Earth, being in the physical experience, not by digital experience, what does it mean to help a person, to not help a person, to be helped, and experience that, to have contact, to help somebody, to contribute to humanity, is your passion communicating to humanity? Because you see there where to get the balance and having that aligned to.
yeah.
So it's a lot of things, but man, I love to study. I love to study life, whatever happens,
Yeah.
and now I'm not. See, that was hard. My homelessness was hard, but now if it has to happen together, I know I can deal with it. I probably learn something else, but if it happens again, I would probably deal with it, you know?
Yeah. Yet you don't need to. I think,
I don't need to. No, no.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I was not aware. If I'm unaware, look how many people, you said migrants and all that stuff. Everybody's, what we talk about is awareness. What the
yeah,
people are, most people, why they're in trouble is because they're unaware. They don't know the physical, how to be physical, because education makes that thing. They just want you to be a worker for them, you know, and not be a human and say, how, what does it mean to, I'm a human. What does it, in education, what does it mean to be human? How, whatever happens systemically, can I survive? How can I love somebody without everything, you know, with all the system stuff gone? How, you know, how can I be? How can I be which I am? How can I be which I am? You know,
yeah.
from birth, I'm one of one.
Mm.
And Michelle is not having the same financial problems that I have, or I have not the same health problem that you have, or anything. Yeah. And Claire has other problems, and this person has another problem. Everybody has different problems because to be more of themselves. Because I think the sickness and whatever your body communicates to you is like what reality communicates to you. So you have a guy that looks at you in the bed thing and you say, ah, you know, it's like you get a shock, you know, you
Yeah.
don't, I don't want to be this, but the body does the same thing. And therefore, I think I love every cell of my body, even if I was sick or whatever, but I always loved my body, no matter how sick he was. From a certain age on, I like my body. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be another. I don't want. That's the saying. You know, we can heal your neurodiversity. Take those. I don't want to heal my neurodiversity.
No,
Right? We
there's
talked
nothing
about
to
that. You and
heal.
I.
Yeah.
There's nothing to heal because it is. That's surrender to what is.
Mm.
That's awareness. Awareness is an attempt to surrender to all that is, and that the symptom of that is awareness, because you can handle it. Because if yeah, I mean, there's psychic shocks where you look at something you can't even handle looking at that, you know.
Yeah.
But the stuff is you in that awareness growth that we have. We learn, okay, it wasn't that bad, you know, and especially afterwards, it's never that bad, you know. So,
Yeah.
and, and it learned me, and when you say then the positive right away, what did I learn from that? Then you program your beliefs that you tracked, you know, same energy as you tracked, always positive. So what's the instead of we always think we are conditioned to always think that's the hardest thing to do. What is if we say that's the lightest thing? What is in the way that I say this is the lightest thing? This gotta go easy.
Yeah.
I've changed that now. I changed that in my thing, and for me it works. It works. It gets easier. It doesn't get harder.
Mm.
So when I say we always try, you know, I have to move to South Africa. Okay. Oh my God. You know, what is if it was totally easy?
Yeah.
Just have that thought in you. So you have to do exams. What is it in me that makes it hard? You know?
Yeah. Yet, in exams or in moving, um,
Yeah.
there's still an element of responsibility, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So I still need to study for that exam for it to
Yeah.
be.
The
I still
system
need
relevant. You
to,
have to
I
go
still
away.
need
You
to
cannot
make
have your own.
sure that
Yeah.
I have the right person that's going to
Yeah.
take things to South Africa, or that
Yeah.
I, buy a plane ticket. Otherwise, I won't be able,
Yeah.
all those.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to say, yes, it's going to be easy, but it's another thing, and I think it's coming back to what you said earlier, is to embrace the fact that it's going to have challenges and to
Yeah.
know that those challenges are those
And
learning
you can
are
look
those-
at it from there's a challenge. Okay, this is right now a box in front of me. So how can I look at the box that is not as threatening? You know,
yeah.
I have
And
to go through the box. I have to go through the box, but I
yeah,
don't want to that it's threatening me or does that it does derail me. You know, from
yeah,
a passionate path that is the end. The path is the end, not the end. You know.
yeah. But to also embrace those things that do derail you, or those things that
Yeah,
make you
yeah.
overwhelmed, or those, to go,
Hmm.
okay, oh, that's interesting. I need more information. That's what I crave so that I can make
Yeah,
decisions according to me. Other people don't need that, but for me,
well,
I need to do it this way. And that doesn't mean that my process goes the same way as someone else's, but that's okay because this is me and that's not someone else.
yeah,
So
and it's okay to be one of one. It's not a hard thing to be one of one, and the easiest it's gonna be when you look at yourself as a one or the other as a one of one. You can look at the say, oh, those children are my family. They need no, they need to not know because they are one of one. And you know how many you can have 15 children, and every child is different.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is not because it's one family that has to be that way.
yeah,
No,
no,
no.
yeah. And that's the mastery of that we're learning, I think, that we
Yeah,
we are embracing in not only awareness, but also in presence, in going,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
today I need to just pull back and kind of focus
yeah,
on one or two things instead of trying to do everything and to go, okay, well, sorry guys, but it's going to be a little bit late,
yeah.
um,
And being transparent. You be transparent. I'm transparent, very transparent, because I'm one on one. I'm looking at stuff different. You look at stuff different. If your kid said, "No, I don't want to do it this way, I want it that way," okay, then do it that way. Try it out. You can always do it my way, but just try out your way, and if it works, because then they have also experience of the consequences. So not when I do mother thing, but mother has a suggestion. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't know why. I'm not so conscious yet, so I don't know if it's because of her, because she's my mother or whatever. She's her authority, and then they can say, "You do it my way," and they have to see the consequences that sometimes somebody else's suggestion could be better, and sometimes my suggestion. So, if, for example, Josh experiences that is, his choice to do this trait or whatever he needs to do better than you, then he finds out, hey, trust me. My thing. If he always fails, then he's going to look for other. And for example, he doesn't take yours, but he takes Claire's advice. Then he knows, okay, I'm more
that would be good.
clear. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I take more Claire advice, and you don't make it a weight. You keep
yeah,
it balanced. You don't make, oh, we have to achieve this. We have to physically move to, and so we can, how to keep that in balance where we get the best of everyone. Your
yeah,
husband, the scooter says something, you say something,
yeah,
the kids say something, and we all do it together with the best, with
yeah.
the best of their advices. And sometimes Joshua does not have anything, Claire doesn't have any, or Scooter has anything. And it falls all back on you, or you have nothing to say. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just how we achieve that. And the more people trying to achieve the same goal to move and
Mm.
make it quick and make it good, the easier it's get. If you just want to go to South Africa, it would be a problem. But if the whole family wants to go,
Yeah. But and in that there's a groundedness. So, often, especially with the kids with the age that they are, it's just mom opens her mouth and she's already wrong. It's not because
yeah,
of what mom's saying, it's just because I want to kind of push boundaries or rebel or kind of just be myself. But then to come back and say, but I'm not your enemy. Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah,
Let's see how are we gonna figure it out together? And maybe you have better insights, but let's not fight each
exactly, yeah.
other on principle. Yeah.
And never down talk down to a kid, because that just cuts them off for the rest of their life. When
Yeah.
you talk,
To
when you say
anyone. Yeah.
whatever you speak is not worthy. I said it's very worthy what you speak. I want to hear it, but it's not about me right or you right. It's not a binary thing. It's about we make it together. We
Yeah.
work on this together. And
Yeah.
that's what they should learn in school. It's not one person knows it and you don't know anything. No,
Oh,
no.
yeah. If only. I mean, critical
Yeah,
thinking gets punished in the education system.
yeah, And
award.
finally, they find out how many thinkings there are. I mean, everywhere I see, there's not IQ, there's this, there's a lot of different thinkings. We know that, I think the highest is the self-awareness. For you, so we can be aware together, you and me here, but for you, the awareness is a little bit different. And for me, it's a little bit different, the awareness. So, because you keep that one-on-oneness in it. You cannot wipe that away. That doesn't work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's the mastery.
it's
I
stronger.
mean, people want to know mastery. This is the way to mastery.
Yeah.
The balance, the balance, what is. And two, the binary always is a third point in it. The balance.
Yeah.
Binary doesn't work because the third point is, people ignore the third point. The third point of any decision is the balance of both.
Mm.
And this is, and because every new thought in quantum theory says that it's always, everywhere, number one, and then it's always splitting into linear. And so this episode would be good for Perry to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you have to be both. You cannot do linear or non-linear. You have to do both, which we always say.
There is neither and both at the same time, and that's the hermetic principles of polarity, because we can hold both sides and none at all. Yeah. So, these are just boxes that we've created, isn't it, to make us share our understanding or viewpoints. Yeah.
But if you hold both and you find the balance point, then you have the balance point. What the experience is awareness. So when you experience the balance point in a either or situation, you have a paradox, and that gives you the awareness of the whole. So if something that's similar comes of either or, you get more and more to adjust it to the balance, and therefore the awareness. So when you are in balance, you get aware of a binary situation. That's why I say that's why humans can solve everything, because it's human and the system can solve everything, but you can't do it both. You can solve the system for humans or whatever, or for the systems, but you have to bring it all together. And it's probably in the system and human-centric, it's probably a cross, like it's a double paradox. It's like systemic, right? And then human-centric. And if you cross it over, you can get the paradox from the balance point of all,
Yeah.
This comes just there. I don't know. I have no idea what that means. I have to listen again, as usual. As usually, I have to listen again.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting that sink in, because that is like, the crossover point, isn't it?
Yeah.
But to be in that crossover point, you have to let go of the other points. So it's surrender again.
Yeah. And then surrender. Yeah. It's surrender too. Not submitting. Surrender. Surrender. Okay. A system is just ultimately it's inhumane, as any system. And we talked about this too. So ultimately inhumane. So you gotta let go of, of also generalization of humans, of all the stuff in the system, to then go to the human-centric, which is everything, it's universe. So we're part of it. And then you go to the human-centric and do either or, and the human-centric, or either one of one or generalization that we contribute to. And then once you're at the one-on-one, I think then you can navigate the strongest, because it's for you. It's not for me. It's not for everybody else. But we go harm to none, because if it's even the best for me, I choose not to have harm you or anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even the greatest thing for me to have a lot of money and have a lot of chicks and have a lot of this and that. That is not mean that I will choose that, because that's not the choice. For me is very important. Because I'm a part of it, so I don't want to destroy the part. See, harm to none means, okay, I'm a part of 8 billion 101.
Yeah.
If I harm anybody, I'm harming me ultimately.
Yeah. I wish I
Yeah,
could see it that way. Wouldn't have.
yeah, but then somebody has to start. You and I have to start talking about this because, you know,
Mm.
and real harm, not just saying, "Oh, you didn't call me binary." That's not harm, you know.
Yeah.
I'm saying this.
Yeah.
If you forget, not if I call you binary, but if I don't call you binary, so the system requests, you know, that you do the system request, you know, and that's. But
Yeah.
I have a very good feeling about what's going on. I think I've also found out a lot of stuff AI now.
Mm.
Um, it has to for it, you know, the technology has to go where it's good. So a can opener, you're making a can opener,
Yeah.
ultimately has to be a can opener if it works. If it doesn't, so if I wants to survive as a can opener, then it has to open
Open
cans.
curtains. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's,
cannot change humans or,
yeah.
you know, do all the stuff that everybody tries to implement it so people pay.
Mm.
So an agency, not so good, but a function, yes, good for that function and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's pretty much there. That's
I
pretty,
did a little left brainy, but it was
yeah.
left brainy today. But I think that I'm not cutting that out. You know, I
No, no.
think
Well, we
we
don't
talk
have
about
anything
everything.
else.
You and I talk about everything. That's
Yeah.
why we have 86. How much? 86 or
Uh,
87
yeah.
episode.
Somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that is mastery, though. Isn't mastery's got different layers to it?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. It's
one of the
just
layers of
everything. You
and
and I say it's everything. We don't say,
yeah,
"Oh, the devil is bad and devil worship and oh, my nuclear war." Whether no, we say, "What is the point in this reality for us? What is the thing of having 61 wars? What is the thing of hunger? What is the homelessness? What is all that?" The light side of it, what gets us to, what brings us homelessness. If everything brings us something,
yeah.
we might
And
not
what does
like
it?
it,
Yeah.
and we
And
might not
what does
like
it
it.
uncover?
Yeah.
Because a lot
Also,
of these things uncover um, aspects of our society that we weren't
be
aware of.
suppressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that were for billions of years suppressed,
Yeah.
which is so interesting. You have to look at that. You know, the
Yeah.
misunderstanding and the unawareness of, you know, certain actions.
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah.
Mm. And sad that some have to endure it.
But I embrace the sadness too. Embrace it because you want to get rid of sadness, suppress it and say it's horrible. You want when allows, you know, want to let go of sadness, embrace the sadness, embrace the anger, embrace the fear, and let it go and say, hey, what can I learn from that? You know, what can I learn from this? Oh, we made a new product, it doesn't work, you know,
Yeah.
instead of making obsolescence, a planned obsolescence, you know, that the iPhone lasts 2 years or whatever, and then you have to buy a new one.
Yeah.
It's rather to say, hey, this iPhone didn't work, so what can we do that it works, instead of just behind it not taking responsibility
Mm.
and do obsolescence. In France, you cannot sell any products with planned obsolescence. So if you buy a knife and the knife doesn't work in half a year,
Yeah.
yeah, that's our minimum thing how long it has to last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Responsibility. There's a responsibility.
A responsibility, not that's what I'm saying. Accountability. You just say, "Oh, we had it in the backpacks, in the backpack instructions that nobody can read and nobody reads." Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to. That is the same thing. Planned obsolescence and these side effects and all this stuff. You gotta be transparent.
Yeah.
And what these, you know, what I really, this comes so strong now. We are so smart, humans together, when we work together. All this stuff, but the simple things we don't care. You know, like a planned opposite, does an iPhone last forever or whatever? I'm
Yeah.
not saying this for iPhone, it's for every phone or every radio or every car. You know, they destroyed the cars. You know, they made a buyback of old cars for electric.
Yeah.
All these old cars that could last forever and environmentally better. They
Yeah.
crushed all. and the people now had to buy the expensive electric cars in America. That's not solving a problem. That is not solving a problem.
No, it's creative.
Because there's so much learning. When you learn how to manage your money, learn how to hold this old car, take care of something, love it. And the people say, no, that's thing, hate it because only electric cars are good. No.
They're not.
Hybrid, I think the future is hybrid. Everything. Again, everything. The bad and the good together makes one that is for us humans the best. Also, I don't believe in mass transportation. It's just too. Everybody needs to have a car. When you have millions of people, they have to have a car and a parking space.
Yeah.
But this is no problem. This can all be solved if you go behind and think it and think about it.
From a human
from a human, not saying I need money, because when you make money the god, then it isn't the god. Money isn't the god. It's not us. Nothing. It's a paper that we believe in. It's a paper we believe in. Mm. And the people that even have a lot of money have a fear of losing their paper. Mm. That's a belief. How can I get more money? How can it be me? More me? How can it be the one of one? That's the real value.
And the real mastery, isn't it?
And yes.
Yeah.
And not saying, oh, you're a woman, I'm a man, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm a different race, or I'm different age. Who cares?
Yeah.
All numbers.
Yes, and yet we navigate the world differently because of who we are, which is influenced by all these other
things.
Yeah.
God, that was beautiful.
Thank you very much. We will continue on the mastery kind of
we just see that how we think. Just look at the episodes. You can look at all of our episodes, that there's always an openness to, now I have an opinion. Nobody cares about your opinion, because nobody cares about it. If you think your opinion is important, it is either very important or not important at all. Because everybody a butt. Everybody has a butt. Everybody has an opinion. So that's you gotta integrate them all. You gotta play, and that's neurodiversity can do that.
And we can only integrate it if we can dialogue, if we can talk to each other without saying I'm right.
Second superpower.
And
creativity.
And specifically to be able to disagree with people you like. To foster that nervous system safety. I do have a viewpoint. I wonder what yours is.
And that's totally, when you see this one-on-one, if I think you are all the woman, I don't want to hear your opinion, because I'm making an enemy of all my women, of all the women that I know, or whatever, South Africans or whatever. I'm just saying, when I label you,
Yeah.
Okay.
Never works.
Love you.
See you next week.
Thank you so much.